played out as we expect. So, ladies and gentlemen, last series of the night, BTK versus Area 77. Who will win? Let's find out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably one of the more anticipated matches of the night for a lot of the viewers, big fans in North America, big fan base for BTK here to see if they can kind of continue that domination and maybe even set some new kind of standards for the team here as they go against the semifinalists of last season.
Yeah, definitely a team that gets a lot of love and attention on the NA scene. But Area 77, I mean, hey, they've got a little bit of a fan base of their own, and I can't see where they go. Honestly, Mark Cutie, when he was a marksman, he was like one of my favorite in NACT. The way he's able to be aggressive and disengage it's very good, but I don't know how it's going to play out inside of the mid lane, so we're going to have to kind of pay some close attention to him as he is performing as that mage for the side of Area 77, and it will be up against Nicolette, who's been gaining a lot of attention on the NA scene as well. Both of these mages step into the scene and ready to perform. We are going to go ahead and see some of the bans on the table, though. The Nolan and the Arlott will be banned out for BTK, and we would say this is kind of textbook so far.
Yeah, pretty standard bans coming out of both teams. I don't think we've seen Arlott played this entire night because he's been pretty much the primary ban. Arlott, Navaria have been pretty much mainstays up in that banning, pretty much warming the bench for a lot of these teams right now because just so dangerous and so defining when it comes to a lot of these games. Definitely looking to see, I mean, if we're going to be going for something a little mobile from Mobazane, or are we just going to go with that the tried and tested heavy, tankier role?
I mean, we have been seeing him get a little creative, right? I've seen him, I believe I even seen him run a Paquito one time, but I know he has been running the Alpha, the Boxia, the Barats. These are kind of more standard for him. Even the Fredrin from time to time again is what he kind of favors. And honestly, I mean, the meta does favor that, so I'm definitely nothing wrong there. And it kind of plays into him and his play style. So we'll have to see how that kind of works out. They are going to ban out that Barat's, not going to even waste any time on that. But the Mathilda does walk.
Yeah, very interesting to see the Matilda out there. Cold World is a very interesting player for me because he has been in so many different roles in North America. You talked about him on The Simpsons. He was a marksman at that time, then transitioned to I want to say a mid after that, and now he's going to be filling the roam position for BTK. One of the I want to say one of the more versatile players in North America with how well and how successful he's been in each of those roles so far.
Yeah, I mean, it provides a little bit of insight on how other roles operate when you've actually made that yourself, which makes him more of an asset to the team. You are going to go ahead and see the Fredrin slotted in, though. Okay, so they ban the Barats. They pick up the Fredrin. It looks like they're trying to just take what they can away from Mobazane. There is still an Alpha on the table. There is still a Boxia on the table. There is still a Martis on the table. I'm not really sure I agree with the Fredrin pickup this early, because you're allowing a lot to walk to the side of BTK in their favor. They can even pick up the Mathilda. They can pick that up, stack it up with something like a Boxia. Now they have some great front line, and now they have some great sustainability. And yeah, I just feel like, I don't know if that's really worth the trade, but hey, time will tell. Maybe Area 77 has some game plans on the way. I mean, they definitely have had a lot of time to think about how they wanted to pursue this draft. But we talked about Mobazane and his hero pools. There it goes. This is more of that signature Mobazane pickup. Slots in the Alpha.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about, I think Mobazane's found like a nice little sweet spot in his picks, in that if some of his picks get taken out, if they get chosen by the enemy, part of that little circle of picks is a counter to that pick that the enemy can pick up too. And in here with Fredrin being that tankiness that he has, the true damage coming out from Alpha is a good counter for that as well. This is going to be, I think, the first Tigreal that we've seen picked up today.
I don't know how I feel about that one, because Tig against the Ruby. Ruby's a direct counter to the Tig. I mean, all she has to do is change some CC and instantly will stop the implosion, because it takes a little bit of time to proc. So that's going to be very hard to be able to rush in and provide those setups. And then you got an Alpha charge on top of that, which I believe if he can proc it in time, he can cancel out the implosion if he's not careful. And then you got to worry about the Vexana, who can kind of fight from afar and provide the Eternal Guardian and some knock-up CC. So the Tigreal, I feel like it's going to be a little bit of an upscale battle. I wonder how well this will kind of play into it, but you are seeing some heavy frontline composition super early in the draft with not a lot of damage output for the side of Area 77, stacking up that Fredrin alongside the Tig.
Yeah, I want to say that the choice for the Tigreal probably comes into play when it comes to these objective gettings. Like, as soon as the turtle is up, you're going to want Tigreal. He's going to need to kind of be a little patient, and he's going to look to try to push Mobazane away from the turtle so that Fredrin can kind of stay in there and get that retribution. So that's what they're kind of looking for. When it comes to the implosion, you're definitely going to need to make sure that either Nicolette and Mielo or at least one of those guys are in that implosion to kind of take away a lot of that CC. But you're right, there's a lot of CC, a lot of things that can actually interrupt it, but we're gonna see how well that kind of plays out into some of these engagements.
Now, this makes me wonder, I don't think Milo is gonna run the Ruby in the XP lane. I mean, honestly, it probably would just benefit BTK to just let the Ruby roam, to just follow the Tig. And I mean, if you could just stay on Tig's tail, there's not really much he's going to be able to do, even if he decides to invade on Mobazane. I mean, he's going to have to be careful. There's still some options on the table to be able to burst down the Tig as well. There's not a carry taken off the board. Brody is still an option that can even more give the Tig a harder time, especially with that Corrosive Strike for the stun and the flicker back to safety. Not to mention, if you just rock a marksman with the Purify, it's another answer. So right now, speaking of answers, we are going to go ahead and see the Ixia taken off the table from the side of BTK. It looks like they're worried about a little bit more of that group CC. I mean, there's a lot of group CC over there for Area 77 already, though. I think they need to kind of start working on getting some heavy damage dealers to work in their favor. I mean, they do have first pick. If we're looking at marksmans, I mean, the Harith has been ran in the gold lane. Looks like it's interesting that they do ban it out. We know BK is a team that can draft three-dimensionally, so maybe that was the plan for that. Are they going to pick up something like the carry, though? I mean, that's what I kind of see when I see the Harith band out, and yes, they are going to go ahead and go in for that since it is a direct counter to it. But that opens up an opportunity for BTK to pick. I would even say, I mean, it could be the Irithel, it could be the Natan. I would say the Brody, though. I think the Brody walked through this and should be the strongest pickup for BTK.
Yeah, and I want to say on the side of Area 77, what we are definitely missing, and is going to be a really big gap for them, is the early game. We don't have anything for damage. All we're going to have is a tanky front line that Nicolette is going to be able to burst all over. We're going to need to have at least something to be able to kind of, maybe a Nana out there up front with which will add the CC. The Molina Blitz will add a lot of that burst damage to help out during the objective fights. And we have a Bruno and the Exborg being picked up by the side of BTK.
And that is going to finalize the draft. There was one missing on the board. It is Faramis over there from Ureshi, so they have the sustainability. As Marcuti is going to go ahead and pick up that gourd. Oh, man, I know if Naisu's watching this stream, he's definitely going to be excited. Oh, wait. Okay. Just getting a note from production. Actually, it's not Faramis, it's CC. So they will be having CC in the XP lane to be able to fight it up against Milo, rocking on this X-Borg, which will be an interesting matchup to see. But I think the most interesting thing about this draft so far is the gourd slotted in from Marcuti.
Yeah, very interesting too. Gourd provides, he provides a lot of early game damage, a lot of burst, and also provides some true damage. The only problem is, with that Mystic Gush ultimate, he's pretty much a sitting duck. He's going to be standing in one place, bursting out a lot of that damage, and you have the potential for people like Cold World, for people like Mielo to close the distance and be able to get to him very quickly.
Speaking of getting the people, we are going to see Basic pick up this Bruno, which means he's going to have some great burst damage to be able to soak into the Fredrin, possibly the Tig, if they're not careful. But he's going to have to play up close and personal, which is where it could work inside of Area 77's favor for the setup.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the match a lot of people have been waiting for, as Area 77 takes on North American fan favorites BTK. Do they have what it takes to get what most would consider an upset win over the former champions?
That's right. BTK, the team that's went the furthest on the international scene. Not the same roster, but spearheaded by Mobazane nonetheless. They are going to be fighting it out on their debut. BTK, I think if I'm looking at the draft so far, I kind of favored a little bit more for them. This is really going to boil down to how well Jay Cutie can kind of perform on this Tig. Since there's a lot of things that can disrupt that implosion, it looks like it is going to be that Ruby in the roam position, which we did agree with, right? We said if the Ruby can be the roam, then he could just follow JQT anywhere he goes, and it'll make Tig not be able to have the advantage he's looking for.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some synergy that we could talk about when it comes to Marcutie and the Tigreal out there, JQT out there. So if you do get countered by one person, actually, Mobazane in between 3 members, are they actually going to try to collide against him? You do have the push there on the Mobazane, who takes an early death in the early seconds of the first game.
Yeah, caught out of position and nobody to really back him up. Looks like he got a little too overconfident, which will give Area 77 the advantage they're looking for to be able to take control of this early game. Now Mobazane will be slightly behind in the farm. He is level 4 though, so he still can go in for this turtle, and that may be his game plan. But you're already going to see Tarzan Cutie pulling the aggro in a counter and contest from Coreworld and Nicolette.
Yeah, but BTK, I mean, great grouping here. Even though Mobazane went down, they still have great control of this first turtle. They are about to get sandwiched. You see Jay looking for an opportunity. They're baiting out. Here comes the last insanity from Yellow, and Eternal Guardian is out as well. That's 2 ultimates that they're not going to have for the rest of this turtle fight, down to about half health. Are they going to be able to contest this? Coreworld in here looking for an opportunity. Are they going to be able to find it? Tarzan finds the first turtle. Mystic Gush is out. Finds a kill onto Mobazane.
Yeah, able to take down Mobazane. 2 early deaths for him, and will put him even further behind in the jungle. Not off to the start they were looking for, but Area 77 landing from a different planet and off to a great start. You know what's interesting about this match? Look at JQT's emblem. He's running Focusing Mark, which is going to allow his team to do additional damage to anybody that he does damage to. Not the normal emblem that I usually see on a Tig. Usually I see something like a Concussive Blast or Tenacity, but to see the Focusing Mark is at least new for me. But Marcutie off to a good start on the gourd, picked up his first kill of the game. We talked about him having a possible hard time jumping into this, especially being stagnant when he does use that Mystic Gust, but so far hasn't had a rough start. I would say BTK need to be careful, or they might find themselves in a hole that they can't climb out of.
Yeah, very interesting here, especially for Area 77. They are going to go ahead and just land the stun onto Coreworld, but is going to be able to get away. A lot of that CC coming out of that Ruby. The only problem here for Area 77 is it's nice to have kills, especially on Mobazane, can kind of give you that momentum. But as we start moving further and further into the game, we need to make sure these kills are coupled with some type of objectives as well. Kills alone don't do it, but you're going to want to maybe get a tower, get some gold plating, get another turtle or something like that to kind of keep the momentum in your direction.
And you know, I mean, if we look at how the advantage has been working so far for Area 7, oh my goodness, invasion on the top side, 3v1.
Oh yeah, Yoreshi's not long for this world there. Mielo cleans it up with a last Insanity ultimate. Good play there, both Nicolette and Mobazane there to help out with that gank. Ooh, little spicy little sitting here, right? I don't think there's too many people on. Coreworld coming in there. Tarzan. They do notice Tarzan. Good positioning for Area 77 for this first turtle. Coreworld trying to stop, I want to say, doing the best he can to kind of harass this turtle. Now at about half health. Nicolette in a good position. Gonna go down, looking for some damage. Here comes the last Insanity. Mystic Gush is out, but Nicolette with great positioning. Tarzan still gets the turtle, and this might be bad for BTK. Coreworld and Mobazane get taken out, and a great turtle and 2 kills for Area 77.
That hole is getting deeper and deeper for the Bloodthirsty Kings as we progress through the early phase of game number 1. Losing both turtles, and now the bot side basic.
Ooh, basic by a nail, able to get away. And I want to say about that last turtle fight, they even had some great positioning. Nicolette able to throw down the Eternal Guardian right onto the Mystic Gush, onto Marcutie, but still not enough to save her team.
Which is interesting because this lineup favors them. I mean, they have so many counters to JQT on this Tig. He was able to get that setup though on a Mobazane with that implosion with no problem, which allowed them to kind of take that fight and make it work in their favor. And now they're going to be leading by a massive XP boost, almost up by 2,000 gold. Now, I wonder if this will be able to translate into some of the turrets, though. You know, we see a lot of teams take these advantages, but not able to find a turret to open up the map. And if BTK can hold on to these their turrets, then they may be able to turn this back around. Now, I'm worried about JQT on these engagements when it actually comes to the 5v5s. Can he still get these implosion setups?
Yeah, we're going to see here. Oh, nice Mystic Gush does land and is going to be able to take down Cold World. Is it going to be enough to take down this tower? ISO laying into it's going to get the first tower claimed for Area 77. Tarzan coming in, does have that Appraiser's Wrath, but does use it as a defense to get himself out of harm's way.
Yeah, able to find Cold World, who's having a rough start alongside Mobazane, picking up his second death. Golden Staff picked up by ISO. You're going to see the JQT picking up some physical defense as well to be able to hold off the damage provided over there from Zane, from Basic, also possibly from Milo, but he does have that true damage running on this X-Borg. Right now, first turret will go to the side of Area 77, and 2 turtles under their belt, up by 3,000 gold, and are going to try and claim this third one of the game. Can we see Mobazane rush in for the steal? No, he's not going to go in for it. He does not have the numbers, not in a position. And again, they're scaling through the times. ISO finds Basic.
The big conceal play comes in there. They're going to find a kill on the Cold World. Mielo comes in with the last Insanity, but is not going to be able to find a mark from Area 77, who now looks like they're trying to lay waste into that purple buff. Not able to find a stun onto Mobazane, who is going to go ahead and back himself away.
Now look at Area 77 putting some pressure, trying to proxy this lane to take the first turret in the mid lane, which will open up the map even more. Appraiser's Wrath dropping down, and the turret will fall.
Oh! Mystic Gush finds a kill onto Mobazane behind the tower.
My goodness, Zane, 4th death of the game. Running this alpha, he's one of the only junglers that we usually see pull this off, but it looks like this is not the story today, as Area 77 came in with a game plan and they are executing, up by 3 turrets and looking for some more.
Oh, JQT in a little bit of trouble here, getting CC'd into a coma there. That was about 9 seconds of him just running back and forth, getting CC'd chained by Bloodthirsty Kings.
Yeah, able to pick up a kill. Their second kill of the game, though, still down by 6 and 5,000 gold. Area 77 has the advantage. Right now, in theory, I mean, as long as they keep playing like this, they should be able to push through these tier 2 turrets. But BTK, they're known to be able to turn things around in the blink of an eye. You give them an inch, they take a mile, and this may be what they're looking for.
Yeah, great setups here by Mark Cutie as well. Oh, prefacing at Mielo in a little bit of trouble here. Tarzan on the side doesn't think twice. He doesn't really want to go in on it. They have the spacing. They're just going to allow the minions to push in at top.
Yeah, I mean, this is just boiling down to better micro and macro. For Area 77, Demon Hunter Sword picked up by ISO, picking up his 3rd core item of the game alongside that Corrosion Scythe. I mean, look at Basic. He only has the Hawk's Claws in a Legion Sword. You have 3 core items over there, outscaling him for Area 77, and now pulling the aggro for this Lord Milo, trying to give some vision for a possible contest, but they don't have the numbers, and this should be a free Lord for Area 77.
Yeah, I mean, it's a free Lord unless you're going to try to test this with this huge deficit, and it's just not a smart play. BTK definitely needs to kind of regroup, wait for a mistake by Area 77, or at least wait for some of these defenses, because right now, especially with the mid towers down, this jungle area pretty much belongs to Area 77.
Yeah, full ground control from them so far. Can they keep up this momentum? Will BTK find a vulnerability and exploit it? ISO able to take down the tier 2 turret for the bottom side. Lord marching in the top lane. Area 77 looking stronger than ever. Way stronger than we've seen them in the qualifiers with how they're performing today. And this is not your average team, right? This is BTK slotted right behind or almost even with the Gaming Gladiators. But now Area 77 making a statement and ready to take it to their base.
Yeah, right now doing a great job of not only zoning out BTK to take these towers, but the macro as well, splitting up the nice little devastation here that we have up at the top. Lord crashing into this tower. Now we do have a conceal play and doing a good job. Area 77 doesn't overstep, doesn't give BTK any type of momentum to try to grab a kill at all.
Yeah, I mean, Area 77, they're being passive, right? They're taking what they can, but they're not being overly aggressive. They are not trying to allow BTK to find a mistake, and this is what you got to do if you want to be able to take down some of the top teams in North America. You have to take every engagement as if it's the last, and that's what Area 77 is doing so far. I mean, they haven't even lost a single turret. No turret has taken any damage for them in the last 11 minutes of their game. Off to a great debut. Now, for the Bloodthirsty Kings, if they want to turn this around, it's going to start with Cold World, right? Finding a setup, getting that offended, possibly disrupting Jay Cutie when he rushes in for that implosion. But the items is what's going to work in Area 77's favor. BTK needing to play to the late game.
Yeah, we're going to see here right now. Ooh, Tarzan takes a heap of damage, and CC Last Insanity is out. Tarzan dodges it as Mielo goes out with a flicker. Area 77 in tow. Oh, big implosion lands up, but they do not catch enough members. Mystic Gush is out, and surprisingly, nobody goes down in that engagement.
Man, trying to catch Basic in his trap with that implosion, forcing out that Purify last second, but Milo with that flicker playing the Last Insanity, definitely showcasing his mastery on the export, but not able to find the kills he was looking for. But it's looking promising for the synergy of BTK, even when they're behind by a lot. Looking like they are taking it to the mid lane for a possible push into that tier 1 turret. Look at the bot side, though. A possible rotation down there as well. It's crazy how far behind they are, but they're still overextending and taking this fight to the mid lane like they're even with Area 77.
Well, and that's the kind of problem, and that's what kind of value you get from a BTK here, is that they know what they need to do. They know how far behind they are, and it's only a matter of time. Area 77 just needs to make sure that they're not making mistakes. They're not getting a little too, I want to say, crazy when it comes to this. They do, I want to say, have a history of like not really being able to close to, oh my gosh, as we talk about that, Yureshi takes a heap of damage. Vengeance is out as he's trying to close the distance. Yureshi finds a kill onto Mobazane again. Immortality is out as Yureshi chasing down Cold World, putting on the damage. Yo-yos are, I mean, you'd never think you saw something scary in the yo-yos, but with Yureshi there, Nicolette, oh, okay. We're just going to watch basic. Going back to base, Mark Cutie finds a tower again at mid.
Yeah, basic, though, making advantage of the separation. Doesn't take 1 turret, but takes 2. Which will be an okay trade. I mean, they need to be able to open up this map, and this is where Basic shines, right? He knows how to rotate and create that opportunity when he has the separation needed. And this is what BTK has to do if they want to be able to turn this game around, as Area 77 is out for a closer. They're looking to close this game with almost a flawless victory, and BTK still has a chance to turn this around. Now, it's been a rough game for Mobazane. He's 0-5-1 on the Alpha. And right now, you are going to see the Lord on the top side, and Area 77 ready to knock on the door for the Bloodthirsty Kings.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and charge into that tower. You can see it dropping very low. They're not actually able to get it. ISO from the bottom is going to flicker himself away. So, Mielo with the Last Insanity. Mark Cutie gets out of there. Mystic Gush is out, and it is going to find... is that a trade? No, Mielo has the immortality, but he is getting targeted. You can see Nicolette doing a great job trying to stave off that, but Nicolette gets caught up by Yureshi and taken down. Cold World's next up on the list. Basic doing his best to dish out the damage with that Bruto, and the Vengeance is out. Big push from Jay. Yureshi finds the kill onto Cold World.
Oh my goodness, Private. Spicy engagement over there on the top side, but BTK, they're behind by almost 10,000 gold. I know they're able to execute. Their macro and micro is good, but when you're down by 10,000 gold, it's hard to win these engagements.
Yeah, and right now, unfortunately for BTK, they're not able to find it. Look at all the damage from ISO with that speedy light wheel trying to dish it out. Here comes the Last Insanity, but it's not enough in a very surprising turn of events. Area 77 getting the victory over BTK.
Phone home, the extraterrestrials, Area 77.